Along with my physical health getting better doing Buteyko, my fear of getting sick is melting away as well.
It's great that this community is growing. I'm just so amazed at how, bit by bit, more and more people are getting good results. What's of interest to you? This is about you.
Okay, well, I'll tell you the whole story because it's quick and then you'll get an idea. I was to the point where I was in constant pain. I could barely walk. I couldn't stand for more than maybe a minute at a time. I would start to feel like my entire body, I would just have to sit down or I would collapse. I felt weak and my breath would go short and funny. I had frozen shoulder. I was on all kinds of different medications for hormones and sleep and hypothyroid and anxiety. So then I found fasting, and I fasted from March of 2018, and I cleared up a lot of things. But then I just plateaued to the point where, okay, so I found you guys, and I started taking Buteyko in December of 2019. At that point, I was suffering from low energy. I was constipated, which I had been my whole life, bloated, nose congestion. I was dependent on those nose strips, those nasal strips. Regular breakouts of canker sores in my mouth. Fearful, low confidence in my health. So fearful of getting sick, anxious, and regular colds. Plus my thyroid, low thyroid. I hadn't had it measured in a couple of years, so I'm not sure exactly what my numbers were. That's where I was when I started.
When do you think your sense of ill health started?
Sadly, when I was a child, I remember as young as 7, 8 years old, I started getting chronic tonsillitis. I was put on antibiotics repeatedly. My mental health issues started as a young teenager. I developed an eating disorder at 13. That took me through my teens. I had a vaccine injury in my mid-20s, and then my health really went downhill. That's when I developed chronic joint pain, chronic hives, low energy, and it just went from bad to worse. So my entire life, from what I remember, and I've tried, oh my gosh, everything, naturopath, chiropractor, osteopath, spent thousands and thousands on supplements, many different therapies, injections, infusions, going to all kinds of different retreats, so many different diets, psychic healings. I tried everything, and I spent so much time and effort and money. And then, of course, because this stuff didn't work, I think that's when the fear started for me, the fear of getting sick, because nothing I was doing was helping. And even getting a common cold would turn into a month for me of losing my voice and being so deeply congested, like it was painful. So yeah, I developed fear of getting colds. And now with COVID here, however real it may be, like I'm not afraid of it. So along with my physical health getting better doing Buteyko, my fear of getting sick is melting away as well. Thank God.
Would you like to just explain briefly how Buteyko has benefited you?
Yeah. About a month in to practicing, my CP went up. So I started around with a CP of 20. It went up to high 20s. And my first healing response was foot pain, which lasted for about 2 months. And foot pain was one of my worst symptoms. It's the reason why I could barely walk. I believe that was a deeper level of healing of my feet that was happening. I also got a couple of colds. So I also believe that my immune system was clearing old infections. I haven't been sick since then. So that was almost a year ago. And then I had quite a few sore throats at the beginning, and I haven't had a sore throat since. That's something I used to get a lot, is sore throats. Around March, my CP was in the high 30s, and I started having nervous system experiences, and I became a lot more moody and sensitive. Actually, I'm still going through that. But what I notice is, like, my whole life I suffered from chronic depression and anxiety. And that is, even though I'm sensitive and I'm feeling like I'm getting healing responses in that way, gradually I'm becoming less and less fearful, more and more balanced. I used to have certain specific phobias, like a fear of being home alone overnight, a fear of driving, a fear of getting sick. And all of those are just, all of a sudden I just noticed one day, oh, I don't have any problem with getting sick. Or I just get in the car and drive and realize, oh, I'm no longer afraid of driving. Or a couple weekends ago, my husband wanted to go away for the weekend. I'm like, sure. It just wasn't no longer an issue. So that's amazing. It's given me a lot more freedom. I'm not constipated anymore. That's something I noticed early practicing Buteyko. My digestion is much better. And I find, oh, I have a magic trick in my pocket, and it's the belly pumps that I learned from the intermediate Buteyko class, doing the belly pumps. Whenever I might feel bloated or constipated or whatever, I just do a breath hold and do my belly pushes, actually. And it's like instant relief. Another thing I have in my bag of tricks is I used to get a lot of Charlie horses. And so now I just hold my breath and shake that area until the Charlie horse goes away, and there's no residual pain whatsoever.
What is a Charlie horse?
A Charlie horse is when there's, well, for me, it happens in the middle of the night when my calf like goes rock hard, or maybe even into a spasm, and it can be extremely painful. And that would be something in the past that would, the pain could last for days. It seems to be a lot of effort for the muscle to relax. But with a single breath hold and shaking that area, the pain just dissipates and it's gone.
We call that cramp.
Oh, okay, a cramp.
I've never heard that term before, Charlie horse.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll call it a cramp.
Oh, Charlie horse is great.
Okay.
I know what you mean. It's amazing. When that happens in the middle of the night, you just hold your nose, hang on. It gets very painful to start with, but then somehow you go through the pain, come out the other side, and it dissipates. It's gone.
It's gone. It's amazing. Yeah. And then my CP went up to the low 50s, let's say around August. The first thing I noticed was I started having teeth problems in this area, upper left corner, which is where I've had a history of pain. And I was a little worried and called the office, but I got some good advice, and I just did breath holds through it, and the pain went away. And then I developed eye pain and really dry, filmy, irritated eyes. And that lasted me 2 months, entire months of September, October. And I believe that I was clearing potential future problems with my eyes, because both my parents have cataracts and they both have very strong prescription glasses. So I think I was clearing a potential future eye issue.
Yeah, very likely.
Mm-hmm.
And was it you that was mentioning something about joint pain, or was that somebody else?
Well, I definitely have had my share of joint pain that comes and goes. It's not a big deal. It's something that I used to suffer very severely from: plantar fasciitis, knee pain, wrist pain, frozen shoulder, back pain. Now I rarely get pain. The odd time I'll feel a little bit of pain in one of the joints that used to hurt. my knees or my maybe plantar fasciitis or my left wrist, and then it just goes.
Yeah, sometimes I find I get an ache in that joint in the thumb, and it gets
Mhm.
fiery, and then it's just disappears.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it just disappears. And it might even be intense, but it goes quickly.
I mean, I used to be like you, in agony, top to toe, and my
Oh,
feet were very sensitive.
yeah,
Walking was painful.
yeah,
Mm.
that's no fun.
I used to get bruises in my toes from
Oh,
walking, and I
oh,
went to the doctor to discuss it, and he said, "Couldn't possibly be. Couldn't. You must have done something else. You must have
yeah.
hit something."
Hmm. Yeah, and then it's a cycle. Like then you don't exercise and become stiff. I don't know, did that happen to you? Because I became very stiff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Where do you think you're at the moment?
I've healed so much, and I believe I'm still healing. So I've been doing Bateco for a year, and it's amazing how far I've come. My CP has gone from 20 to low 50s, and just that alone gives me so much confidence. I see I'm still healing, so I've got some emotional healing still that I'm doing, and some physical things that are still releasing. It's happening quicker. Like, for example, I feel like I have a bit of a hoarse throat now, but it'll probably be gone by tomorrow. I find for me, fasting helps as well. And it's nice that that was confirmed by what I've learned with Bateco, like to eat less and to eat within a window between 11 and 7. So I find when I stick to that, I do really, really well when I'm doing the Bateco and the fasting and or the minimal eating between 11 and 7. I feel great. I still have a bit of nervous system stuff to heal.
We've just been sort of discussing how it is being ill and having found something that actually works.
I just feel talking to you, waves of extreme gratitude for finally finding something that works. Bateco online, like I thought I had tried everything, and I actually didn't really have that much hope that Bateco would totally change my life in a positive direction, but I'm just so grateful that it has. I feel so empowered having this tool that actually works. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Would you like to give a summary of what the quality of life is for you now? Like what is your day like?
My day is good. I go to bed whenever I want to, which was not the case 2 years ago, so I don't worry about it. I go to sleep, or if I don't sleep, I don't worry about that. I get up in the morning, even if I'm feeling tired, I know that after I do a set, I'll be fine. So I start my day positively. I'm not hungry or craving right away. So I have time in the morning to do my Bateco, and then I contemplate. It's very fulfilling, my morning routine. I'm not concerned with eating. I don't eat anything or drink anything until 11 o'clock, so I have some freedom there. I'm fairly present during my workday. I still have some triggers around the concept of feeling busy and rushed at work, but I'm aware of those ideas much more so than I used to be. Interestingly, the quality of my day tends to go down a little late afternoon, and isn't that exactly when my pauses drop? So I'm pinpointing that time of day, and if I'm preventative on any given day and I do more regular pauses, I sail through that time of day. I have a nice peaceful evening, and the only other area where I'm working on the quality of my day is not eating after 7 p.m. When I stick to not eating after 7 and then I do a really nice Bateco set 2 days later, or 2 hours later, sorry, I have a perfect day. So the quality of my day is excellent.
That's great. And I mean, the thing is all of us who've managed to find this are blessed, because it's the actual method that does the job.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually keeping your pauses up that does the job. It's a technical thing. It's a deficiency. We're working with a deficiency. It's great that this community is growing. That's what I'm just so amazed at how bit by bit, more and more people are getting good results.
Wow.
And improving their level of health.
Yeah.
And no longer in need of any help. And they're now turning their lives around to be able to help others. And that is the blessing, is to be able to be in that position.
Yes. Yes. The other day, because I'm working from home, my husband said, I could hear you with your kids, and you're so present with them, and you're so delighted to see them. And in turn, they're absolutely delighted. Like he said, it just warmed his heart. And I thought, like, I am present, and that's not something I used to be.
Mm.
And I'm fairly happy most of the time, and that's definitely not something I used to be. A big change for me was when I made that goal. I was telling Vladimir, I made this goal to do eight sets where I reached 120, 8 pauses where I reached 120 a day. And then he said, no, drop that down to 4 and do an hour of cotton in your nose. Well, since I've been doing that consistently, my mood has been much stabler and happier. Is getting those high pauses at least 4 times a day.
And then working on your breathing pattern.
100% working on my breathing pattern. Because if I don't, I can't reach those high pauses.
But the thing is, if you work on the accumulative effects, you see, it's the accumulation of CO2 that is the key. Because it builds up every time you breathe. It builds.
Okay. Yeah. It's a nice feeling too.
That's the thing, is people, it's very easy to get stuck into the pauses and think that's it. Yeah, the pauses are it, but then between sets is really important for the accumulation. The pauses help you to breathe less, and then it's about how to get the accumulation. That's the key.
Yeah.
Takes real training.
Well, that's the thing, it does. And that's another thing that's helped me, is taking regular courses with you guys and coming to the monthly pre-session, continuing to take courses and retake courses has made a huge difference.
Well, and of course, I do the practitioner work, and I get to retake the courses as well. Either I'm delivering them or I'm listening to someone else deliver them. And that means that I get the benefit, because it's a constant process of being reminded.
Yeah. Because you're always there helping for the free monthlies. You're with the advanced training. How fun.
I get the most benefit of anybody.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about this, is that more people are in the sort of zone of people who are practicing, the more benefit they get for themselves.
Yes. And by the way, thank you so much for those free monthlies. Those are really fantastic.
They're good for everybody. Constant repetition. Constant reminding, constant being able to see that other people have got the same problems.
Yes.
Realizing when they actually need to do something a bit more and maybe take some more training. It's a way of for us to keep in touch with people, them to keep in touch with us. Because it's very easy to go off on the isolation thing.
Yeah.
That's what Boutega discovered. He discovered that people can't do this on their own. He tried. He wrote a book actually and gave it to everybody and said, there it is. That's all you need to do. People didn't get the results. And
Oh.
after that, he realized that people need a supportive environment. They can't do it on your own. Most people can't do it on their own. Some can, but it's
Mm-hmm.
quite rare.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's something to do with the objective and the subjective experience.
Oh,
So the
okay.
subjective experience of the practice
Mm-hmm.
is quite difficult to manage. It's very difficult to maintain objectivity. So you need other people to do it for you.
Okay, I see. Yes, that makes sense to me. Mm-hmm.
You know, because we can't see everything that we're going through. We're in it.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Mm-hmm.
difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else from outside can see for you and
Mm-hmm.
help
Mm-hmm.
you out so that you can see it.
Yes, yes. Right. And like even though Liv is doing Bateko religiously, her numbers aren't going up.
No, they
So
don't. They tend to plateau.
yeah,
If you're not under supervision, you tend to plateau.
yeah,
That's very common.
yeah, yeah.
And there's loads of different traps that we can fall into, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you know, me included. It's not I'm not exclusive to being falling into a trap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's good to be associated with other people who are practicing.
Yes, yes, 100%. Thank you so much for those free monthlies. Those are really fantastic.
They're good for everybody. Constant repetition, constant being able to see that other people have got the same problems.
I feel so empowered having this tool that actually works.